Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the vlog here. Today I've got a deadlift day and I'm trying to focus on some speed work, because one of the things that can happen over time is if you're not focusing on it and you're not actively trying to get faster, is what's been happening to me is I've been moving slower and slower. So I'm trying to get back and refocus on completely pausing on the ground and really trying to move as fast as I can and with really good intent. And what do I mean by intent? What I mean by intent is like being very focused and being very precise with my movements. So I'm trying to move really, really fast today. And I don't work up to too heavy. I think I go up to like 355 for a couple of triples, but I'm really trying to keep the rep range lower. And I'm trying to just do a lot of sets of 3 reps and really trying to focus on moving as quick as I can. And one of the things I was trying to do in the beginning, because one of the habits that I have is my knees usually collapse in. So I'm trying to put the band around my knees so that I'm actively pushing out and externally rotating my legs. But I think one of the things that happened here was I was doing 315. I was trying to put it above my knees and below my knees, but I kept hitting it and it kept getting stuck. So I go and I do 315 here for just a double. And as I'm going up, you can see like the bar hits that band and it grabs it that little bit. And I was going to go for 3, but I just said, heck with it. It was throwing me off. So this is my first working set, work up to 315. And really just trying to go fast, like I said. One of the things, because at this gym, they have like 2 separate areas. They have an upstairs that they have the hex bars, so they're flat on 6 sides, and then down here they have the round bars, or plates. And with the plates, usually what I like to do is I really like to roll it into my shins. And what happens with that is it kind of puts you in that really good position to actually start the movement. Deadlifts can definitely start to add up, so you can see I put in a couple of clips of me really getting gassed, but I think this is a really good view of the side of me moving pretty quick. I keep it pretty flat back. I think the only critique that I would have on myself is I need to put my head down a little bit. You really want to keep your spine in as neutral a position as possible, and one thing that a lot of people do is they crane their head up to look at themselves in the mirror, but then it throws their thoracic spine out of position. But I end up doing a pretty good job here. I think here I'm putting on another set of 10, so I'm going to 355. But even here, when I go to start that movement, get in a good position, my butt doesn't shoot up. I'm in a pretty good spot right there. Lower back looks pretty flat. I think I need to work on some upper traps and just being able to keep that upper back tight, because it looks like it's giving out just a little bit. But usually my rule of thumb is anything over like 300 pounds, I'll throw the lifting belt on, just because it really helps you to like brace your core, and having that physical like item to push against so that you flex your abs really hard just really helps me to stay tight and keep me safe through the movement, because I've noticed over time that if I don't wear the belt and I don't have something to push against, I don't keep my abs as tight. Here I tried to put that line on the screen to show my bar moving in a perfectly straight line up and down, but I don't think the camera was at the best angle to kind of capture that. So usually have a pretty good bar path. You want the bar to go straight up and down. You don't want it to go out in front of you. What I see a lot of people do is when they go to start the lift, they don't know how to pull the bar into them. You really want to just drag that bar up your shins and up your thighs the entire time. The closer you keep it to your body, the easier that movement's going to feel. And what a lot of beginners make the mistake of is as they're deadlifting, as soon as they get to their knees, the bar wanders out from them. And for every inch that bar wanders out, it adds like 50 or 100 pounds or something insane to it. So try to keep that bar as tight to you as you can. But here, I like to do antagonizing muscles. So today was a deadlift day doing speed work, so I switched over and I'll do front squats. For me, deadlifts are more glute and hamstring dominant, whereas the front squat, it definitely hits your quads a little bit more. But one of the things that I think I do pretty good when I do my front squats is I really put that bar as far back on my shoulders as I can. It almost sits on like your collarbone or your clavicle, and I'm trying to basically put it almost as far back into my windpipe as possible and basically choke myself with the bar. But the further back you can get it on that top shelf, the more over your center of gravity it's going to be, and you're going to be able to front squat that weight way easier the further back it goes. But the second thing that I really try to focus on with the front squats is I really try to focus on squeezing my abs as hard as I can. With that bar being on the front and not the back, it really has a tendency to pull you forward. So I love doing these because it really makes me work on my upper back so that I don't collapse forward. And then I also really focus on my abs, because if you don't really brace your abs and squeeze your abs as tight as you can, that bar is just going to completely pull you forward. So I think it's more an ab workout for me, but I got pretty good hip, ankle, and knee mobility, so I'm able to really do front squats pretty good with a pretty low depth. I know not as many people have the same mobility that I do, but I think it's something that you should really work on. The only thing that I'll say is when I do these front squats, I have a little bit of butt wink, which I'm not really happy about, so I'm always trying to work on that hip mobility. But you can see here, get pretty low and pretty good mobility. My knees don't shoot super far forward, which I would say for front squats isn't necessarily a bad thing. You're trying to hit your quads just a tiny bit more anyway. But I think here, this is the last set of front squats that I do, and I end up doing a pause in the bottom. And you can see, like, I stay in a pretty good position in the hole, and then, yep, grind up. There you go. Those are moving pretty good too. So yeah, I think I was pretty happy with this day. I think with the deadlifts, I ended up working up to 355. Maybe I'd be super stoked if I got to 365 and I did it for a couple of triples really quick. And then I went and I hit the front squats. Front squats, sometimes I go up to 225, but I mean, it was moving good, and I was pretty beat up from the deadlift. So overall, I think this was a pretty good day for me. I'm starting to move a little bit faster, trying to focus on that stuff. And today's November 17th, so I only got like maybe a month and a half left until I really start to get into my cut. And I usually like to try to cut for summer. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and tune in for next time. Unrelenting Pressure.